The doer, the watcher, the performer. Most people believe they are distracted because they lack discipline. They are wrong. They are distracted because their attention is divided. When work is real, there is only one movement, doing. But the moment recognition enters, two more voices appear. Now the work is no longer done, it is observed and performed. One part of you acts, another judges, a third imagines an audience. This internal crowd never goes silent. Energy fragments, presence disappears, depth becomes impossible. You don't need better focus, you need fewer voices. Depth requires one thing only, undivided attention. When the watcher dissolves and the performer disappears, the doer is finally alone with the reality. That is where real work begins. When you are not acting from the doer, you are acting from the judger. I am below status. The performer, I will prove them wrong. The audience, society will see my worth. Money is not the goal here. Work is not the goal here. Depth is not the goal here. Image is the goal. That's why energy never gathers. Why this can never lead to depth. Depth requires innocence, direct contact, no psychological agenda. But your action is carrying psychological residue. Resentment, comparison, revenge, validation seeking, future projection. This is not wrong. It is just not depth. The moment the work is used to heal an image, the work becomes secondary. Reality withdraws. The brutal truth. You cannot touch depth while trying to prove, compensate, dominate, outperform, correct a wound. Because depth has no interest in your wounds. Reality does not care who rejected you. Reality does not care about status. Reality does not care about society's opinion. Reality only responds to attention. Why the doer keeps disappearing? The doer can only operate when there is no psychological urgency, no narrative, no personal story. But right now, the judger and performer are too loud. They say, this must pay off, this must show them, this must change how I am seen. So the doer never gets the wheel. Unless there is no judger and performer coming in, you will never touch depth. This is correct. Not philosophically, mechanically. Depth is not something you add. It is what remains when those two collapse. What most people do wrong at this point? They try to suppress the judger, kill ambition, force purity, pretend wounds don't exist. That fails. You don't fight the judger and performer. You see them clearly. Seeing is enough. What happens when seeing becomes total? When you see this urge to make money is about image, this drive is a borrowed pain, this intensity is not clean, something loosens. Not instantly, but irreversibly. The judger loses authority, the performer loses urgency, and for short moments, the doer appears. Those moments are silent, unimpressive, ordinary. That's depth beginning. You don't need to become the doer. You need to stop letting psychological wounds hire the performer. When the wound stops driving, the doer shows up naturally. Depth is not a reward for purity, it is the absence of agenda. You are not behind, you are not broken, you are not shallow, you are simply seeing clearly for the first time why depth has stayed away. That seeing is the beginning of depth. Now, don't rush to fix it. Just don't lie to yourself anymore. That is enough. Early success is often not success, it is early validation. When someone peaks early, social approval, romantic success, status, admiration, the performer is activated before the doer ever matures. They are rewarded before depth is required. So the nervous system learns, I don't need to go inward, I don't need to touch reality deeply, I just need to maintain the image. From that moment onward, the craft is no longer primary. The images. What actually happens to people who have actually succeeded early over time? For years, things still work. Why? Because youth, charm, and early momentum carry them. But those who are borrowed forces, they do not compound. When youth fades, novelty wears off, competition increases, life becomes complex. The performer has nothing underneath. The doer was never trained. So they stall, they plateau, they disappear. Not because they are lazy, because depth was never built. Why late bloomers often go further. The ones who didn't peak early were not rewarded for performance, so they had two choices: collapse or go inward. Those who can survive choose the second. They sit longer with discomfort, work without applause, fail without identity loss, stay with boring reality. This quietly trains the doer. No audience, no shortcuts, no early rewards. So depth accumulates. Why their success looks sudden later? It isn't sudden, it is delayed visibility. Depth compounds silently. It does not announce itself. When it finally shows up, people say, he came out of nowhere. No, he came from silence. The real difference. It's not early success versus late success. It's early external reference versus early reality contact. Those who anchor early to external reference become fragile, require validation, cannot adapt, fear irrelevance. Those who anchor early to reality grow slowly, appear unimpressive, outlast trends, become inevitable. Why this matter? Your earlier pain, rejection, comparison, delayed progress did something important. It prevented premature performance. It hurt, but it protected depth. If you don't turn that pain into revenge or proof, but into honest contact with the craft, it becomes an advantage. One warning: late bloomers fail when they turn resentment into fuel, use success to settle scores, become performers once rewarded. That collapses depth instantly. The moment you start showing instead of doing, the doer steps back. Depth is built when no one is watching, nothing is guaranteed, boredom is constant, silence is long. Early winners rarely face this, late builders live in it. That's the difference. Early applause builds performers, late silence builds masters. You are not late, you are spared. Now don't waste that gift by turning the doer into a performer. Let him stay alone with the work. That is the only path that does not disappear. The natural state, one stream of attention. When depth is possible, there is only one thing happening. Attention is inside the work. There is no commentary, there is no observer, there is no future projection. Reality is teaching you directly. This is how children learn. This is how craftsmen master. This is how real insight forms. What recognition does, it multiplies voices. The moment recognition enters, attention splits into layers, not emotionally, structurally. Let's examine each. The doer, contact with reality. This part writes the sentence, solves the problem, lifts the weight, applies for the job. This is the only part capable of depth. Why? Because depth only arises in direct contact with reality. But the doer requires silence, time, mistakes without consequence, boredom tolerance. Recognition destroys these conditions. The watcher, self monitoring. As soon as recognition matters, the watcher appears. Its job: evaluate performance, measure progress, protect identity. It asks, am I doing this right? Does this look competent? Is this worth it? This seems responsible, but it creates a fatal problem. Attention leaves the work and turns inward. You are now thinking about doing, not doing. Judgment enters, flow exits. Depth cannot coexist with self monitoring. The imagined audience, external reference. Then the most damaging layer forms. An audience appears, real or imagined. Now the work is shaped to be impressive, filtered to be safe, adjusted to be acceptable. Truth is no longer primary, approval is. This is where learning stops. Why? Because reality does not care about your image, but the audience does. So you choose clarity that looks good, effort that is visible, ideas that are palatable, reality withdraws. Why this audience never shuts up? Because recognition has no completion. Even if approval comes, it fades. It raises standards. It creates dependency. So the mind keeps checking. Silence disappears permanently. The hidden cost, internal multitasking. Most people think this costs focus. It costs energy. You are running 3 processes at once: doing, judging, performing. No system can run at full capacity like this. Fatigue follows. Shallowness follows. Depth becomes impossible. Why depth requires disappearance? Depth appears when the watcher shuts up, the audience vanishes, only the work remains. This is not mystical, it's structural. When attention is single, time collapses, resistance dissolves, learning accelerates, mastery begins. The uncomfortable truth: the watcher and audience feel like you, so letting them go feels like disappearing. That fear is exactly why depth is rare. You cannot be present and observed, learning and performing, in reality and in image. Choose one. Depth chooses for you. Disappear or stay shallow. So, the doer is the only one that touches reality. The watcher evaluates, the performer performs. The moment the watcher appears, energy divides. The moment the performer takes over, depth disappears. Reality does not reveal itself to those who are being watched, it reveals itself only to undivided attention. Protect the doer, let the watcher quiet down, let the performer starve. What remains is silence, and in that silence, the work finally begins.